Hello everyone, Silverstruck here. Welcome to the Silverstruck channel. In this video, I'd like to talk about one of those lesser known refiners. A refiner that doesn't have a large name like Engelhard or Johnson Matthey. And in the vintage world, there are many like that. Some are easier to collect than others, just based on available information. One of my favorite resources being allengelhard.com. You can find a page about this particular refiner there. And what I'm referring to are these bars right in front of us. Simmons Refining, also known as Refco metals. They've produced quite a few rare pieces of silver if you're lucky enough to stumble across them. What we're seeing here are a little bit more common. We have some press bars and then a cast bar to the right. And I'll talk about these bars and how I came across them, of course, and collecting refiners like this and why I even bother with it. So first, let's have a look at the press bar here. This is the first Simmons bar I found, and that was years ago out in the wild at my LCS. So you can see it has a big S to the top. It says Refco metals, fine silver, 3 nines, 10 ounces Troy. So they did some of this, some of their wording backwards pretty much, right? And it has a serial number right there towards the bottom. And I love, lot numbers, serial numbers, dates, anything like that on an old bar. As we flip this this press beauty over, you can see it says Simmons Refco repeated 3 times in full with that big S logo on the reverse. So pretty neat bar, and you would think that this would be a pretty widespread high mintage bar, just simply because if you've been collecting the same thing, has the same shape and size as a Engelhard or a Johnson Matthey, those were pretty common comparatively to their earlier bars. But in this particular case, it's exactly the opposite. Let me show you a pic here on allengelhard.com of this particular bar. You can see that less than 200 were produced. With some of these small refiners, part of the allure to collecting is that because they were so much smaller, they produced an awful lot less silver. So pretty much anything they produce is going to be lower numbers than what you're going to find on those big refiners. Then years after I'd picked up the first bar, I found the same thing again at the LCS, and I was able to pick this bar up. And that's part of the reason I love doing videos like this. It's knowledge for all of you out there looking for these rare pieces that a dealer may not really appreciate what he has. So my particular dealer really didn't care much for the Simmons Refco metals bar, so I was able to pick this one up pretty much at generic pricing, even though it's a nice vintage bar with a low production number, according to allengelhard.com anyway. So it's a great pickup if you're hunting vintage the same way I do, and you want to actually find some of this stuff in the wild. That's kind of fun to hunt down some of these pieces, especially if you can pull out a rare one, or you have a certain feeling about a bar and you're not sure you should pick it up. Hopefully you find videos like this one helpful. Now about this last bar right here, over to the right. This is a earlier Simmons bar, not a super early one, just earlier than the press bars. And I was able to get this one from Emerald Co-Stacking. So great channel, great guy, and happy to have been able to acquire this bar within the community. You can see here that it's an interesting bar. The stamping is off, which is pretty cool. I like that kind of stuff. So you have the big S. It says Simmons Refco 3 nines for the purity, and then 10 troy ounces the weight. And as you can see, this bar kind of has an interesting shape. Pretty cool bar. Now you'd think this would be one of those more rare bars, so I'm going to go ahead and use allengelhard.com yet again. Excellent resource, as I always like to say. So what we're looking at here is the exact bar. That's going to be the bar on the bottom of the pic you're seeing, not the top. This is the Type B, is the bar that I've been able to acquire into my collection, and that has a mintage of around 5,000 made. So the Type A example to the top, I'll draw your eye down towards where the weight is. You can see 10 troy ounces. Notice that that TR is smaller and not uniform with the 10 or the ounce. And if you glance back down towards the Type B, you'll see that font is all the same right across the bottom. So that's the difference between finding a Type A and a type B ingot. If you can, the type A is drastically more rare, right? Hit 500 made versus the type B, but very happy to have a type B, and that gives me something to look for collecting vintage silver. If I can acquire a type A, then I'll have a little mini set, if you will, of both types of this particular Simmons Refco bar. So there you have it. A little bit of a shorter video. Just wanted to talk a little bit about Simmons Refco and share my collection. These are all the Simmons bars that I do have, and hopefully I'll acquire more as time goes on. You'll have to leave me a comment in that comment section. Let me know if you have any Simmons bars. And as always, thank you so much for watching.